She wouldn't sit beside me. That's how it all began. Not with shouting, not with divorce papers scattered across the table, just an empty chair between us, cold, silent, and more telling than any word she'd said in months. Evelyn chose to sit at the far end of the polished marble dining table, wearing a gown that cost more than I earned in a month. She brushed past me like I didn't even exist. Her perfume, sharp and expensive, sliced through the air, its scent cutting like a blade. She didn't even look at me as she spoke. "You're just a cleaner," she said, her eyes fixed ahead, her voice as flat as the table between us. The room seemed to hold its breath for a moment, then the laughter resumed. The rich laugh in a way that made it clear they were in on a secret you'd never be allowed to hear. I stared into my glass of water, watching the ice cubes melt slowly. For the first time, I didn't feel embarrassed. I felt ready. I used to think Evelyn's love faded slowly, like the changing of seasons. Now I understood it evaporated in stages. Each time I came home with the smell of bleach and exhaustion clinging to my skin. Every time my hands cracked from scrubbing other people's messes. She used to say she loved my ambition. But that was before ambition meant early mornings, sore knees, and work that no longer resembled luxury. That night at the Lorne estate, a grand, glass-filled cathedral of excess. I saw it clearly. Evelyn hadn't just fallen out of love with me. She had outgrown the version of me she never thought would rise. Her laugh at Mark Lauren's joke was too loud, too eager. Her hand lingered on his arm a moment too long, and he, heir to a vast real estate fortune, looked at her like a predator eyeing its prey, amused, already tasting victory. I kept my face impassive, watching him act out their little drama. Her teeth sparkled when she smiled. My heart didn't break. It solidified. My phone buzzed. He's 5 minutes away. I slipped it back into my pocket, slow and calm. My reflection in the wine glass remained the same, but something inside me had shifted. I'd cleaned 1,000 floors, scrubbed blood from hotel bathroom tiles, erased the sins of strangers. But tonight, I wasn't here to clean. The sound of a low, velvet engine cut through the music. Everyone turned. A deep, obsidian Rolls-Royce coasted down the circular driveway, as if it owned the night. Eyes followed, curiosity turning to weary whispers, then silence. Even Evelyn's laughter faltered mid-sentence. The car door opened. He stepped out. Richard Kingsley. Silver hair, storm gray suit. A man who didn't just walk. He arrived. The crowd fell silent, almost reverent, like royalty had arrived. Evelyn's champagne glass slipped from her fingers, shattering like glass lungs gasping for air. He strode through the crowd, heading straight toward me, clasping my shoulder. "Sorry I'm late, son." The room exhaled in shock. Someone gasped. Phones started to rise, their screens lighting up like fireflies in a thunderstorm. Evelyn's face drained of color. Her lips parted, but no words came. Mark's smile froze mid-snare. He looked between us, trying to solve a puzzle he wasn't prepared for. I held Richard's gaze, steady calm. He nodded once. "Your son?" Evelyn choked out. I answered softly. "Yes, I wanted it that way." Richard's voice was like frost over fire as he spoke. My son insisted on making his own way. No family name, no favors. He wanted to build something from the ground up. So he cleaned while you pretended you were better. The guest's eyes shifted, burning holes through Evelyn's mask. Mark stepped forward, trying to protest. "Wait! This can't be. Richard, come on. This is some stunt." I smiled, slow and silent. I pulled my phone from my pocket and showed the news. Screens lit up again. A headline blinked across every device like a gunshot. Billionaire Richard Kingsley reveals hidden heir after 10 years in seclusion. The photo of me in coveralls, holding a mop, and another of me sharply dressed stepping onto a private jet beside my father flashed across the screens. Evelyn reached for me, desperate. "I didn't know, I swear, I didn't know who you were." "You didn't care to," I said. "That was always the truth. You thought I was beneath you. You did. I finished. That's what makes this honest." Mark tried to speak again, but Richard silenced him with one of those Kingsley glares that could shut down a boardroom. "You mocked my son. Played God in your glass cage," Richard said coldly. You've got 5 minutes to leave this property before my security, who I pay well, decides you're not worth the lawsuit. Guests began to move away from Evelyn and Mark, as though they carried some contagious disease. Their silence was the verdict. The guilty had been named. Evelyn looked around, but no one came to her side. I turned to Richard. Let's go. There's nothing left to clean. We walked to the grand hallway, now silent, stripped of all illusion. With every step, the weight seemed to lift. In the car, he handed me a folder. Divorce papers, already signed. She gets nothing. Infidelity. Emotional abandonment. I didn't even open the folder, just stared out the tinted window as the estate faded behind the iron gates. Evelyn was probably still standing there, heart pounding, ears ringing, wondering how it all unraveled so quickly. Funny how money changes everything, except character. That always shows itself when the mask slips. Richard broke the silence. You handle that well. I nodded once. I've had practice cleaning up other people's messes. That night, I didn't just walk away from a broken marriage. I stepped into my own name, my legacy. And for the first time, I understood sometimes the greatest power isn't in rising loudly, but in leaving quietly.